So the poems continue at page 94 of Hafez. Today is a little sunnier. Is it April 10th? There's the Persian first line. Life's garden flourishes when your bright countenance is here. Come back. Without your face's bloom, the spring has left the year. If tears course down like raindrops now, it's no surprise, it's right. My life's flashed by in longing for you as lightning splits the night. Seize these few moments while we are still time for our promised meeting. While we have still time for our promised meeting. Since no one knows what life will bring, and life, my dear, is fleeting. He says, seize the moment. While you're still time, we still have time for our promised meeting, since no one knows what life will bring, and life, my dear, is fleeting. How long shall we enjoy our dawns? Sweet sleep, our morning wine. We're still enjoying morning wine, our morning poetry, which is wine. Our morning Hafez poetry is our wine. How long shall we enjoy our dawn's sweet sleep, our morning wine? Wake up and think of this, since life's not yours for long or mine. She passed by yesterday, but gave me not a glance, not one. My wretched heart, you've witnessed nothing, as life's passed by and gone. Goodness. But those whose lives are centered on your lovely mouth confess no other thoughts than this, and think nothing of nothingness. An ambush waits on every side whenever you might tread, wherever we might tread. And so life's rider rides slack-reined, giving his horse its head. An ambush waits on every side whenever we might tread. So life's rider rides slack-reined, giving his horse its head. What's he mean by that? Leaves slack. I've lived my life without a life. Don't be surprised at this. Who counts an absence as a life when life is what you miss? It's strange. He doesn't have a life because he's absent from his life. But if you don't become absent of life, how are you going to get a life? And when life is what you miss.
Life is the one in meditation.
Life with meditation is life? I've lived my life without a life. Don't be surprised at this. Who counts an absence as a life when life is what you miss? That's a nice line. Speak, Hafez. On the world's page, trace your poem's narrative. The words your poem writes will have life when you no longer live. So here he was absent. He didn't have a life. Then he was absent from life. And now his poems will live on after him. Unusual. You like that one? You like to read it again? Would you like to read it again?
Okay.
All right, I'm reading it. You're reading it through me. Life's garden flourishes when your bright countenance is here. Come back without your face's bloom. The spring has left the year. If tears course down like raindrops now, it's no surprise, it's right. My life's flashed by in longing for you as lightning splits the night. Seize these few moments while we have still time for our promised meeting, since no one knows what life will bring, and life, my dear, is fleeting. How long shall we enjoy our dawn, sweet sleep, our morning poetry, morning wine? Wake up and think of this, since life's not yours, but for long are mine. She passed by yesterday, but gave me not a glance, not one. My wretched heart, you've witnessed nothing, and life's passed by and gone. But those whose lives are centered on your lovely mouth confess no other thoughts than this. Think and nothing of nothingness. And think nothing of nothingness. An ambush awaits on every side whenever we might tread. And so life's rider rides slack-reined, giving his horse its head. I've lived my life without a life. Don't be surprised at this. Who counts an absence as a life when life is what you miss? Speak, Hafez. On the world's page trace your poem's narrative. The words your poem writes, the words your pen writes will have life when you no longer live. True, his poem did live.
Read it again, Dad.
The what? The ending? The last two verses? I've lived my life without a life. Don't be surprised at this. Who counts an absence as a life when life is what you miss? Speak, Hafez, on the world's page, trace your poem's narrative. The words your pen writes will have life when you no longer live.
That is Hafez.
Yeah.
I thought you read that.
I read that? That I made it up? That Hafez would live on? But Hafez did live on. Yeah, I didn't make it up.
So he's writing, he knew, huh?
That his poem would live on? Well, it could, and it's possible, right? You had some fame, and it has the potential to live on, the written word. I don't know. Could or could not live on. That was such a lovely poem. I'm going to do that one as one poem, stand alone. That poem stands alone. What do you feel the theme or title is that? You could say the last line, the words your pen writes will have life when you no longer live. I could use a line, we read it from Faces of Love, translated by Dick Davis Penquin Classics, Deluxe Edition. Mostly the poetry, Persian poetry of Hafez. The poets of Saraz. There was in this other book I read here, what was it, the Ummah. The plums are spectacular. The Silk Roads. Says in Saraz, you gotta try the Ummah plums. They have the best plums, and they have plum wine.
Cool.
This book here, The Silk Roads, a history book, was saying they had great cities at this time in Saraz. The Baghdad, they said Baghdad in the 10th century or something had, I forget the size, it was some sensational number. Somebody estimated at 100 million people. It's basically the largest city in the world. Though I don't know about China, but it was very successful in trade and stuff. There was they were far wealthier. About the 10th century, the Islamic Empire was wealthier than the others because of trade. But anyways, so they could get plums and sorage.